Hi guys, it's Amy, GablesStitcher, here with another stitching update video. Today is Friday, November 22nd, 2019, and thank you for coming to visit. This is a Flosstube cross-stitch channel. What I do on here is I talk about my cross-stitch projects, current, future, and past. And I like to share with people my stitching, sometimes books. And thank you everybody for coming and visiting with me today. I have not done a ton of stitching in the last 2 weeks. It has been very busy just with life events, and my oldest, Abby, actually had the flu this week. She was home most of the week. She is back at school today. So really most of this week was taking care of her and doing a lot of Lysoling and cleaning to hopefully keep it contained so the rest of the family wouldn't get it. Knock on wood, everybody seems to be holding out strong. She is feeling better and she did make it through the whole day of school today, so that is good. She was the first case of flu A at our pediatrician's office. Not something that you necessarily want to be the first on, but take it as a warning that cold and flu season has begun. So I worked on 2 projects the last 2 weeks. I was not going to make a video today, but then because American Thanksgiving is next week, I realized I would be hard pressed to make a video next week. So I'm going to show you what I have. I'm going to show you a couple of old finishes. Call it Flashback Friday. I have a couple of charts I have added to my collection, and I want to talk a little bit about plans, not so much stitching plans, but plans on some videos that I want to do in the next month or so as the year is running down. Some wrap up and planning videos. So with that being said, let's get to the stitching. My main project the past 2 weeks was Satsuma Street's 12 Days of Christmas. I still cannot find my cover sheet. It's around somewhere, but I can hold it up because you can see this is almost done. So this is done on 28 count Monaco with the called for DMC floss. Last video 2 weeks ago, I was working on my dancing lady. I think I had her about half done, maybe a little bit more than half done. And since then, I have also finished my 10 Lords of Leaping. And yesterday, I finished my 11 Piper's Piping. And I really like that block because I like sheep. So the 2 sheep there were very fun to stitch. So here we go. So I have 1 left. I have my 12 drummers drumming left, and I have the bottom border. So I have been putting a little bit of stitching in the bottom border when I have the thread left on my needle. Otherwise, I'll just finish it at the end. And I also have some of the block to do. You can see a lot of it's just half stitch, so I can count, but that should be pretty quick and easy. So let me hold the whole thing up one more time. So happy with my progress on this. And I am hoping in my next video, it will actually be an FFO. I'm putting some pictures on Instagram of it. So if you follow me on Instagram or you would like to, it's GablesStitcher. You can stay tuned there for updates. I have a frame. I already have it. I just need to, in the mat board, I just have to stretch and lace it and iron it. So hopefully that will be done. My goal was to have it done by December 1st. December 1st is a week from this coming Sunday. So I would say there's probably a good chance that it will be done December 1st. And move out of the way here. Right behind the lava lamp is our fireplace and our mantle, and it's gonna go in the middle there for the holidays. Started decorating a little bit for Christmas. I kind of go a little bit nuts for Christmas, not Priscilla nuts, but I do decorate quite a bit. So I have started pulling out some decorations. I figure it'd be fun to film here for a little bit as the decorations fill in. I'd planned on finishing this week, but plans changed. So hopefully this weekend we can pull the rest out. The other project I worked on this week is 3 pumpkin ladies. This is by the Little Stitcher on Etsy. I am doing this on 46 count. So I got linen. It's a scrap I picked up at Silk Weavers. I think 46 linen is called Bergen linen. And here it is. Last time you saw this, hard time holding this straight. Last time you saw this, I had just started this 3rd lady, and I have pretty much finished her dress. So I love the way this looks. This is a really, really fun stitch. Really fun stitch. This, believe it or not, has been my travel stitch, even though it is on 46 count linen. See, that's insane, right? That this is my travel stitch on 46 count. But because the skirt is actually a really easy stitch, just needed to see where to leave the holes for the leaves, and I needed 1 color of floss. It was easy to bring with me and stitch it at different appointments and tutoring and everything else. So I think this will be a quick finish once I finish the dresses. The dresses are massive. The dresses are like 1,000 stitches each. So, I mean, if you look at it, I mean, they're big. But I think once I finish them, all I need to do is the pumpkins and a few of the leaves. So I see that being a quick and easy finish. Although those are my famous last words of any stitcher, right? That you can whip it out and it'll be a quick and easy finish. We'll see. I pulled out 6 things on my last video that I wanted to focus on a finish for November and December. I think once I finish 12 days, I will continue focusing on my pumpkin ladies because I like them and they're close to done. I'm stitching that with a mix of DMC and Victorian Motto flosses that I've subbed in. What I want to work on next as well, looking through, I'm going to show this again. I've shown this so many times. I haven't stitched on this since May. It's Spooky Countdown by Primitive Hair. So I am about halfway done with this. I am stitching this on 32 count MGC Textiles linen that I coffee and tea dyed myself. Called for DMC, a couple of other colors I'm just throwing in because. And here it is. Let's pull it up here. No more progress since I showed it last time. Like I said, I don't think I've touched this since May. But this is coming out as soon as I finish 12 days. Spooky Countdown is coming out, and I will work on this until I'm finished. And Pumpkin Ladies will likely still be like my travel project, or I call it my kitchen table project too, because when my kids are getting ready for school in the morning, or I'm supervising homework with my 2 younger ones in the afternoon, I sit at the kitchen table and I stitch. And I like to have a project that doesn't have a ton of colors and isn't huge. So that's lived at the kitchen table the last few days. And that's all I have for current stitching. I wanted to show a couple of old finishes. I have been stitching since I was a teenager, probably actually since I was about 12. So I have a lot of things that I have stitched that are either framed, a lot of things I've given away, a lot of things that are in a bag, or well, it should be in a box. I should put them in a box, but right now they're actually in a bag. But I pulled two things out that I finished years ago that I don't think I've shown on video before. So one of them is this. See if I can get it without too big of a glare. This is Flax Fields. This is by Carriage House Samplings. And this is an old chart. I am sure it's out of print. However, I don't think it's a hard to find chart on the secondhand market. I stitched this with the called for silks, the called for needlepoint silks, on some type of Zweigart 40 count. A friend of mine had stitched this and passed the chart and leftover silk onto me. This I had stitched when I was in the hospital after having my third child, Phoebe, who was my little cross stitcher. She was a planned C-section, and I had two other children at home. So I knew those 4 days after I had her were actually going to be the most relaxing 4 days I was going to have for quite a while. Yes, I was recovering from major surgery, but I had nobody else to take care of but myself and an infant. So I cross-stitched. I think I started this maybe the day before I went into the hospital. Small start, and I finished it before I went home. So quick, easy stitch. I love the colors, and every time I see this, it reminds me of her being born. Another small that I did, this I did 2 years ago, 2 summers ago. And this is a dimensions kit. I think I got it at Michael's. Welcome to group therapy. It was stitched with all the kit fibers and supplies. So 14 count black Aida and the floss. And it is in like a $3 Michael's frame that I bought at the same time. This, I made this because when we go as a family to the beach in North Carolina every year, we rent a big house with 2 other families that we're really good friends with. We have 9 kids between the 3 families, and the kids have done summer vacations together since they were infants. So, and as adults, it's great because we spend a week with 2 of our other closest couple friends. So I stitched this 2 years ago because that whole week is essentially group therapy for the adults and for the kids. And I brought this down. It sits on the kitchen table while we're down there at the beach. And it also sits on my kitchen island at home, because anyone who comes into our house our door is always open. You're welcome to come in, have a glass of wine, have a cup of coffee, tea, water, sit down and chat with us, because friends are always welcome. So it was a fun stitch and I love it. So that is 2 old finishes. Call them Flashback Friday finishes. I'm thinking of maybe doing a video in January or February of all my old finishes. I need to gather them up. Some are frame, not like the frame stuff that's on my wall. I think I would do that at a separate time. More of what Pam calls her under the bed box. Just the stuff that I've stitched that I've never done anything with. I know I have 2 bags. I'm hoping too that pulling them out and showing them will inspire me to do something with them rather than just having them in a bag. As far as adding to my cross stitch collection this week, I didn't really get much, which isn't a bad thing. I did see a sale on the Owl Forest Embroidery website. I'll link that website below. It's a Russian website. They have kits and they have PDF patterns. All the prices are rubles, but it's easy to convert, an online converter to see what your currency would be before you pay. And the prices are very reasonable. I haven't bought anything that had to be mailed. They had a sale last week, so I picked up a couple of charts that I've been wanting PDFs. One I had purchased a while ago, but I had never seen, and they're all from the same series. There is a Pride and Prejudice sampler series. So being a book lover, being a Jane Austen fan, and loving Pride and Prejudice and cross stitch, these really spoke to me. So ignore the black and white. Our printer is out of color ink, and my husband's a little bit outraged by how much color ink myself and the kids go through. So we're using black and white right now, which is fine. So like I said, I'll put the link down there. You can click on it and see what they look like in color because they're really pretty. So this is the first Pride and Prejudice sampler. This is Longbourn, and you can see the Bennets there. So Mr. and Mrs. Bennet and all 5 girls. This one I had bought in the spring. These are all, I want to say not on sale. They're about $5. I mean, they vary day to day depending on the exchange rate, but they're about $5. They're not expensive. This is the second one. This is Pemberley. No, excuse me, this is Netherfield. And you can see there's Mr. Bingley and Mr. Bingley and Jane and Mr. Darcy and Lizzie. And I am sure you can guess what number 3 is. Number 3 is Pemberley. And this one, so I was printing it out and I was like, wow, this is like a sampler and a half. Like, did I buy another one? No, I didn't. So they give you 2 options for Pemberley. They give you Mr. and Mrs. Darcy. And then they give you Mr. and Mrs. Bingley and Mr. and Mrs. Darcy. So you get the bottom part of the chart twice. I think I'm going to stitch the first one. Mr. and Mrs. Darcy. So I picked those up. They have some really neat things on there because it's not the stuff that you see everywhere, but they're nice. I did pick up one other item while I was there, and this is a free download. It was a mystery sale. This mystery sale's over now. Like, I finished, it was like an 11 parts. I finished, I think, a couple of weeks ago. It's still free as a download, and the whole thing you can download as one part now. So if you want to get it, I would say go download it now before it disappears, because it very well may disappear. This is Wizard of Oz. And this looks like nothing because it's black and white. The colors are vibrant on them. It's gorgeous. They did it on a green fabric. Once again, click the link and see it and go download it. If you look for it on Instagram, a lot of people have stitched it, and it's really, really pretty. So it's free as of now, as of today. So get it while you can. And I'll put those links down there. Sometimes it takes me until the next day to get the link on. So if it's not there immediately, like, go back and check. Just because life just takes me sometimes. And the only other thing I have is I got a piece of fabric in the mail. I get fabric and floss from Nancy Turner, Victoria Mono Sampler Company Club. I get the primitive floss every month, but I only have it delivered every other month because I get a fat half of fabric every other month. And this came in around when I did my video, but I don't think I showed it. So this is my fat half color. Let me just find a good swatch and put it up. So it's really pretty. It's 40 count. Her fabrics are Zweigart. So like Zweigart or death for me. I love Zweigart. And this color reminds me of Picture This Plus Ren. Really just a nice neutral with a little bit of modeling. It's more of like the gray scale than a brown scale. So love her fabrics. If you're looking for a fabric club and you like prim colors, she is a good one to, to check out. Her prices are great, and I've been very happy with all the fabrics that I've gotten. So as far as upcoming plans, once again, finish 12 days. Then I'm gonna move on to Halloween countdown, my pumpkin ladies, and we'll see where that brings me next. Video plans. Before the end of the year, so going into December, I have plans to make a few videos. I would like to do a video of upcoming plans for the year 2020. I would like to do a video for wrapping up 2019. I started making videos in January of 2019, so it'll be a nice, concise, video of all my finishes and maybe my starts that I did this year as well. I was also looking at all my whips, and I was talking to Julie, Kansas City girl in the Colorado world, as we talk quite a bit. And we were both thinking of doing a video together, like a split screen type of conference call video, where we go through our whips and figure out what we want to focus on for 2020. Guys, I have some really old whips. I have whips from like 2002, 2003. I'm now current in the 2000s as far as whips, like this century, but I have some really, really old whips. And I've basically decided that I don't want to keep all of them active for next year because they're not being stitched on anyways right now. So I want to keep some out to focus on and finish, but I also want to start new stuff because there's so many new things that I want to start and stitch. So I'm going to go through the whips. Julie's going to help me. Like I said, we're going to film it. I'm going to try to film it split screen so you can see she and I go through my whips and decide what I'm going to keep active for 2020 and what I am going to put away and for the year, and at the end of the next year I'll pull some more of those out for 2021. And I also want to do a video of planned new starts. Julie and I have decided that we're going to do new starts for Halloween on the 13th of every month for 2020. So I want to pull out those 13 starts. She did a video where she showed her planned starts for next year for Halloween. I also am going to do 3 sampler sales with people, actually maybe 4. So do those and pull out which charts I'm going to put into my screaming at me now, please start basket. So 2, maybe 3 videos coming up into December. And that's about it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for continuing to subscribe, watch, like my videos. I am getting really, really close to 1,000 subscribers, which just blows me away because when I started doing this 10, 11 months ago, I never would have thought that many people would watch my videos. I do have to say that I have had the best time making Flosstube videos. I have met so many nice people who in the cross-stitch community who are Flosstubers, people who are not, people who maybe watch, or just I've become more outgoing and open to meet people that a year ago I wasn't. I'm a bit of an introvert, and it's been very exciting to meet people who a year ago I never would have met. I have met the most amazing people, whether online or through comments on my videos or commenting on other people's videos, from local stitch-ins, retreats, StitchCon, celebrations of needlework. It's been a great year. And I want to thank everybody because you helped make that year great for me. And I hope that my videos have helped make your needlework year great too. So on that sappy note, next week is American Thanksgiving. Thank you. I'm very thankful for all of you. And I hope that whether you celebrate Thanksgiving in the United States or you live elsewhere and you don't, just have a wonderful week with your family, your loved ones, and happy stitching, everybody. Thank you very much. Have a good one, guys.